Welcome, everyone, to Simulation Talk 218. Keep getting surprises with the doggies. So I'm a little late to our live sometimes. Sometimes days can be a little hectic. I hope everybody are doing great. Hopefully the phone will hold. It was, I think I had a water accident. What's up, Nikki? So hopefully it will hold and not get damaged. What's up, P? Baldman, Ariel. Blue Rooster 76, Sofa King, Terry, Ebony, Chris, how are you guys? So good to see you. JH is in the house. Happy Earth Day, indeed. What else we got here? Guru, how are you, brother? Owl, Bradley, good to see you. Oh, working on your terrarium. Beautiful. Carmelo, how are you, brother? Here we go. Let's get into some fun stuff. What's up, Mags? Riyadh, Lauren. Good people today. Okay. Angel 47. 47th Angel. Ellipsian Music, how are you? Guess who's hanging out? Good to see you. Unique. Your mom's basement is great. What's up? Power Off is in the house. What's up, Val? Good to see you. It's good turnout today. Okay. So in the spirit of making strides of helping the world, I want to it can either be today or it can be any other day, depending on how we feel, what our moods are. I want to maybe do some experiments where you guys can propose a claim or something that you think is important or interesting, and we can look into it together. And it's especially good if I don't know anything about it, because I want to kind of go through the details of how we sift through information and what might be more what should we call them, stable ways of going through fields of information, because the more we have that ability, the more we can help the world actually understand what's going on. See a lot of confusion happening nowadays, guys. I am overall pretty optimistic about the future, but I think we have arrived at one of these periods of time where we have to pay attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. But let's maybe practice together of how to do that and help correct course together. What's up, Theo? Good to see you, Coach JV. Because it seems that, well, I mean, it was predictable, I guess. There's more and more information available all the time, and it's very confusing because it seems like everybody are trying to compare everything to everything else, and in reality things are becoming more and more novel. In other words, there are no real versions of these things, so it's very confusing. Thank you so much for the gifts, Poisons. What's up, Joshua? Glad you caught the live. Coming to your house? All right, Lipsian, are you inviting everybody to your house? It's a lot of people, I think. Thank you so much for sharing the laser tutorial, Guru. What's the latest with your research? I haven't checked in on this topic in a hot minute. Thank you for the question. Last revision. We have quite a bit going on. You guys, you should definitely join our Discord group. because we have a lot of stuff that is happening there and people sharing ideas. And you can update yourself there. There's quite a bit going on. Brad is here. Woohoo! And oh, Brad is with you. Got it, in person. Now I understand. That's awesome. And that's kind of great. And my bride is in the house. Last revision. Please join our Discord. The link is in my main YouTube channel's page. Third link from the top. I'm sure Guru would share in a moment. And also codeofreality.com. As always, go over to the site to check out what we're doing. What's up, Ian? The simulation talk. I can always give a quick revision. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This channel usually revolves around the simulation, idea, hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found actual proof that we live in a simulation, and I've been vocal about this for a few years now, and it's now taking shape. And so we're meeting here on a semi-daily basis and discuss both this topic, the implications, the experiment, the discovery, and adjacent topics like science in general, religion, philosophy, spirituality, God, whatever really people want to talk about, we talk about. So that's the gist. It's pretty open. If it's interesting, we talk about it. Nico, how are you, brother? We have all kinds of guests, from scientists to spiritual leaders to people who just want to share their minds. That's what it is. So I welcome you, and I'm glad you're here. What's up, Purple Haze? Ebony, thank you so much for sharing everything, guys. How did you? Poison, thank you so much for the love. Did you order some laser enhancement glasses? No, I the truth is that I'm not gonna be doing any of these experiments in the next couple of weeks. We will start doing a lot of stuff now officially, and part of that. So within the next 2-3 months, we should start be running through quite a few experiments. But it doesn't happen from today to tomorrow because we are in the process of putting a lot of things in place. For the purposes of scaling, we are very busy with Carter, with Carmelo, with the mods, help the project actually take shape as the next iteration of whatever it is, and that takes quite a bit of work, both in terms of infrastructure, which people like Carmelo are just like, I'm speechless, just putting in their time and contributing incredible amount of work to build something that will people can actually use in terms of aggregating around the project. So some infrastructure that people can interact with, and there's a lot of legal stuff because I started in a nonprofit, and that nonprofit needs to now go through all the different steps. There's so many different things that are very boring, managerial, and because of that, the experiments will have to wait a second. But we are also shooting the movie at the same time. We're going to be shooting quite a bit this upcoming week and the week after that. And during these times, we're going to be shooting some experiments that were already set in place. And then eventually, we're also going to start going through all the different kinds of experiments. But I definitely wrote down what you said, and this will definitely be run as an experiment. Saying, if God created us, are we just his simulations? Same as if we create a video game. Basically, yes. Only it's simulations on top of simulations on top of simulations. God is not really creating them. He automates the process that then creates the simulations. So God is not creating it directly. Yeah, we're working hard, AJ. Working hard. Not just documentary. No, we have a nonprofit now. We have an actual organization called Code of Reality Inc. that will become a nonprofit soon. It's just because you have to submit a bunch of stuff on the legal side, and then Carter is working on his side endlessly to bring people together, organize the projects, outline the goals of the next few months, the next few years, building a budget. I mean, this guy is just a machine. There's no way I could have done any of this without him, and honestly, without all the other people that came in and contributed their time and contributing their time. Laszlo, an award-winning game developer, who's working on some stuff in the background as well. So soon we're going to be very, very open about, obviously we're going to be sharing more and more, but a lot of this stuff is kind of very boring and dry things that you have to put in place so bigger things can happen. And Eric is in the house. How you doing, my brother? Donate, absolutely. If you want to donate to the film, we always donations are always welcome, because we did raise quite a bit of capital to be able to do the big chunk of it. But any amount that people contribute helps tremendously, because all these little things eventually collect, and it helps a lot because you can do more with that. And our aim is to try and create something that will be really, really cool. Thank you, brother. They'll be contributing to the greater good of all. So we'll definitely make sure that your buck goes towards that. If you want to contribute, you can always follow our GoFundMe page. The link to it is in the trailer on YouTube on Then Go Thoughts. You can look the trailer. What's up, Marcus? If you're on TikTok, you can follow the link tree in the description, and you can find it, and you can contribute there, or you can contribute directly, and you can write what it's for. All the information of our PayPal, Zelle. No, Zelle is not there. PayPal, Venmo, all the different ways, Cash App, all that stuff. It's all listed on the website on codeofreality.com, which you see on the screen. That'll be direct contribution. Thank you so much for joining as a member. That's another way of contributing, joining as a member for the YouTube channel. Welcome to the new member, inshallah. And yeah, so you're more than welcome to do one of those things. And if you want to directly contribute to the film, that will be through the GoFundMe page. If you want to contribute to the project, which is not less important because the film is also following the project, you can do this directly through the website. And yeah, so absolutely. Thank you for asking. And if you were asking just in terms of doing things, absolutely go join our Discord, and the right things will find you, and we will be able to tell you what needs to be done. And if somebody has the time, and at the moment we need more people that will kind of take lead. So like not so much ask questions as to kind of look at the situation and help discern what needs to be done next. But absolutely, there's a lot of things to be done. So thank you, Ebony. Managers, I'm not a big believer in managers. You don't need. Can you? What is he doing? You don't. Managers, you don't usually need more than one manager per pretty big task. Usually, managers is, to my mind, it's usually kind of a, especially when projects are not that large, you need more people who do things versus managing other people. Discord, you can go on YouTube, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, and on YouTube on my main page, you'll see links to all my social. The third link from the top is the Discord channel, and in fact, if you go there now to the live on YouTube, we're also streaming live there. The mods are constantly posting the Discord link, so you can find that there. And yeah, if you want to follow, by the way, through Twitch, that always helps. It's LaserX83 on Twitch. Sure, AJ. We actually have a composer that Aaron just brought for a test run. But yeah, we're always looking for good people to contribute something, and we're not necessarily looking for people to do things free of charge. I appreciate it, but in the end of the day, because it's an official project, you still have to write down agreements, and money has to be exchanged. There's just no, even if you want to contribute, and I'm sure there's a way to do it, but then there has to be some stipulations and some agreements about, if the movie makes serious revenue, you still need to be compensated. Again, I deeply appreciate it, but if you want to email me about that, that will be dangoprox@gmail.com. dangoprox@gmail.com. That's only for stuff that have to do with business, guys. Business or things that have to do with immediate action. If you email me a theory you have to dangoprox, I will never read it, unfortunately. There has to be some kind of a division. So just keep that in mind. If you want to send me theories or postulations or ideas, that will be lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I know, we're starting to draw on emails. Okay, so I think Let's see if we can dive into something. Oh yeah, yeah. If you're a member over the second tier and up, email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com. It's all listed when you join as a member. You should see the chat, the post, whatever it is on YouTube, and there should be instructions there of what to do. You just email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com with the title new member. So it goes into new member, and I know you're a new member, so I can send you invites for Zoom. But it's only if you're from the second tier and up. If you're not, then it doesn't include the Zoom calls. So everything is available to you that members get, which is the weekly lives for members only, aside from the daily lives. That's automatically open to you. Early access to all my content and personal things from my life that will live only on YouTube members and nowhere else. So you don't have to do anything for that. If you're second tier member and up, definitely email me to lasersimulationx@gmail.com. Okay, I feel like for 16 minutes I've just been telling people where to find us and how to contribute to the project, which is important and good, but let's try and give you some value back. Let's see what we can dive into. What if there are multiple gods who created the simulation, just like a video game project being created by a team? Sure, it's just that eventually, if you're creating infinite worlds, it's unsustainable to have people working on them all the time. You would basically automate a process, which is essentially what is happening. You automate a process that naturally gives rise to infinite number of worlds, and then the mainframe is just observing what's going on for multiple reasons. It's a very deep subject, but you're going to have managerial companies, which absolutely exist. They kind of cater to the um, fidelity of the structure of the physical arrangement of whatever it's doing, or at least what we call physical, including all the error correction and all that stuff that always happens. But overall, the worlds are automated. It is unsustainable to have conscious agents constantly needing to create things. They can if they want to, but it's but it is not a sustainable system. Thank you so much, Chris. Absolutely. If you want to like the chat, the algorithms love this. What's up, Booba? You want to let her outside? And she made a noise. Can you let her outside in the back? Fractals and fractals, baby. Indeed, indeed. What's up, Charlie? Why are they gods and not technicians or scientists? Great question. There are gods and there are technicians. So good question. And they are different. Because gods are a different kind of thing. It is very popular to believe nowadays that basically God is just a collection of all of us. We are all God. Um, it it's always contentious because I mean I'm just a dude who's saying things, so I'm not expecting anybody to take this too seriously. But if you're asking me and my experience and what I've seen in the space, no, that is not the case. So gods are very different than us. We are not that kind of a thing. We, as a collective, operating under regimes that gods control. And I know it sounds a little bit too almost whimsical or almost childish, like it sounds like a fairy tale. That's what I saw. That we are not made out of the same stuff. We are not gods. So you can say that we can have more and more and more power in terms of operation and control and all of that, and we have a relationship with what is called the divine, but we are not it. And I know it's a very popular thing nowadays to believe that we are, but we're not it. At least that's what I saw. But it can definitely operate through us, which is sounds confusing. With the drones, what do we want to talk about with the drones, Val? That's funny. 421 Central Iowa. Yeah, the difference between the architecture and the managerial company, basically. Ace Magic is saying, "What's up, Dan? I just discovered you on TikTok. I have a question. What do you think about sports betting? I feel like there has to be a way to free financially from the matrix using it. And anything that has to do with you trying to get a shortcut will always lead you to more debt, both actual debt and spiritual debt. I would say that's a pretty universal rule. There are no shortcuts. You have to take all the steps required for your growth, both financial and spiritual. That's my take. Well, actually, KLGD, to be quite honest, and the gentlest way I can say it is that there's a reason why I once told you you might want to change your handle. Can we know gods? Yes, by the feeling that they send through the feelings that we feel as the ripples of what they are throughout. I saw the creator allegedly. That's really funny. That's actually a great T-shirt, to be honest. I saw the creator allegedly. I'm gonna write down this. My Brighton. It's brilliant. I love it. Just had a total time for might as well join the chat. Well, welcome, Jimbo Cooley. How's Cosmo? Does he need higher voltage collar? Do you hear that, babe? Babe, Nico. Wait, hold on. Can you hear me? Nico is saying, "How's Cosmo? Does he need a higher voltage collar?" So far, no. That's very funny. Think Google is buying space in our consciousness? Probably. My cat will eat the PC if I don't feed her. All right, Ebony. Huh?
They're both staring at something.
Does she have the cone?
Yeah.
Okay. What are we then? That's a great question. That is a great question. I think we are nodes of understanding. We're like the neurons of existence. Seen many amazing things in space and life, and nothing has made me think there's a God. Yeah, used to be in the same camp. Not anymore. Do you think what happens in our dreams has any significance? No. I actually don't think so. I mean, not across the board. Of course, sometimes it can have tremendous significance depending on how it influences your actions that lead you to the ultimate journey is the spiritual journey. But I'm actually for the most part, I feel like dreams they're not that significant. I like to use energy as the word to condense things. God, but my view. Wait, I like to use energy as word to condense things. I think something's missing from this sentence for me. I don't believe in God. I know for a fact there's a God at this point. I don't believe anything ever. That's actually why I know, because I've never believed anything until I saw and felt fully, and I'm fully aware, fully aware that unless it happens to you, there's no way you can um, enter the state of that knowing. But you have to be able to open yourself to that, I guess. So I don't believe I know. I would add though that it's not what we think it is. That's for sure the case. Hold on. I feel like my hair was just too crazy. If you make your focus on helping others, the universe is likely to prioritize that endeavor. I would agree with that. You will train my dog. Yeah, we just sent him to 2 weeks training, so he's slowly coming along. What's up, Terry? Hey guys, hey Dan. The last couple of lives have been great discussions. I've enjoyed them very much. Always enjoying these. Though, so let's see if there's more. So I asked a question on Discord about celestial bodies being eyeballs on lenses or observers. What do you guys think? Uh, you asking if I think that the stars might be eyes? Is that what you ask? Mentally evolve, saying, "Hey Dan, can I share something I wrote today? It's a 5 paragraph. Can I do that if I pay?" No, you can just share it on Discord. You don't need to pay for that. What are you talking about? Just join the Discord. Uh, as you can find the link on my the main YouTube page, and then share it. Just tell me how you know about God and what you saw and felt. I do it every once in a while. I did it in quite a few lives. Uh, it takes a lot of energy. I think today I don't have enough of that energy, but I am. I've been asked, and my mind started working in the direction of creating a video that talks about all these details and what I think the relevance of that is. Infinite Paradox Buddha reminded me to never judge a book by its cover. Ain't that the truth? I recently shot up through many layers of something I don't have a vocabulary for. Sounds about right. He's got the quantum code. No, God is behind that. Or above that? Or besides it? I think above that. I have a husky. I'm amazing at training dogs. I believe you. The husky doesn't need to be trained. It's the husky lamb, Cosmo. Cosmo indeed going through metamorphosis or metamorphosis, which is just more fun to say. What if planets contain the potential to have life on them from the magnetic fields and plasma that create souls? I think there's just too much obscurity in this comment for me. What happens to the hyperspace being if they ingest the molecule? That's a really good question. Do they enter our space or do they go to a higher space? I think that that's a great question, man. I love your question, Charlie. I think that the reality is that for us, whatever the molecule is in our space, it arranges the information in our brain to be able to receive the perception of these vibrations in that space. It's almost like a channel on the radio. But if they already live there, they literally vibrate that energy all the time. That's what I think is going on. Dreams are just weird. Could a black hole be a giant observer interacting with the information field? Not according to what we understand about physics. Can, in general, anything can be, but you would have to describe the mechanisms by which it is if you're really interested on making progress. Black holes, by definition, are completely separated from our universe. In fact, it is fair to say that black holes are not really anything in our universe. Black holes are a lack of universe in our universe. They are not an object. They're actually a lack of space, which is kind of a mindfuck, but it's true. In other words, whatever is beyond the event horizon is actually not in our universe anymore. If you can and are able to open up this up in Twitch and boost the numbers there too for that. What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about it at everyone. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate you. If you'd like to open up conversations about what you've written, it may be a good option to share it to our Discord. Indeed. Why are the beings in hyperspace asking you to look up? Should we be projecting the laser on the ceiling? It's not that kind of an up. Again, Charlie, you have great questions. I was asking the same thing. They seem to be frustrated with me when I don't understand what they want, but they don't mean up in three-dimensional space, it seems. They just like up, up. I'm like my eyes go just this far. If I raise my head, I don't see anything different. It's almost like they want me to look up here above my eyes. I'm like, why would you build anything that will be so convoluted for me to see? I don't know. But there's something there. I don't understand what it is. Aside from giving me read it on live if I think it's worth sharing. So put it on Discord. We can discuss it, and if I think it's important enough or cool enough to share, then I'll read it. You don't need to pay for that. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you, man. Do hyperspace beings use substance? Yeah, same question that Charlie asked. That is a great question. I never thought about that. What's up, Chris? Thinking 1989. Soon we're going to be playing up there, Yumi and Ebony. It's going to be great. A few lives ago. Oh, I thought you mean like a few lives ago of yours. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be rich. A few lives ago, you were talking about nirvana versus higher heaven realms. Can you explain what nirvana means to you? Is it like the ultimate heaven in a way? I always hear the term, but unsure what it means. Great question, Irving. So the way that I understand it, nirvana is not a thing, kind of like a black hole. It is the complete dissolution of any kind of attachment of any kind. So it is beyond the heavenly realms. It is not the same kind of thing. Heavenly realms, even though they're ethereal, they still have content. They have pleasures. They have, at least that's what people believe, right? Nirvana is basically the way that I understand it. The main predominant, I guess, if you want to say feeling or emotion that's going to be in there, the only one that can ever be there, it's actually not love, it's equanimity, it's complete balance, it's complete dissolution of any content, of any inkling to move or go, or it's just pure field. There's no more. You no longer reincarnate. There is no you. You just merge with the totality of whatever gives rise to everything. That's how I understand nirvana. Also, it's a band. There any changes to taking the molecule during a full moon? Actually, remind me to tell you about this at some point. It's a pretty wild occurrence that happened to me. But I simply don't have the energy to do a good storytelling bit today. But if you do the right thing, it's almost like there needs to be certain things. You got to do a certain ceremony. You got to. Something happened to me once that was just. It really takes the cake in terms of how wild it was. It was the realest thing I've ever experienced. Why do you ask, by the way? Do you believe in apotheosis? Ancient people used to believe that exalted people went to heaven and became a god, great spirit. Maybe. That is very good for communication learning to see it read back. Priceless. The need for good grammar, folks. So energy is the word to condense things as a god. All. Yeah, well, all symbolic representations, not just words or language, they denote something in the meaning space. The meaning space is the real thing that then invokes symbolic representation to be communicating to other things in existence the wiggles of meaning, so to speak. So I guess the short answer to what you're saying is yes, Yoni. I'm a few minutes behind. And I'm quite a few minutes behind, so don't worry. Would you be surprised if this reality was a trip and you woke up in another body in reality? Not at all. Wait, what? Val just randomly. Oh, peacocks. What? Nice. We are avatars for the stars. I don't know. It's a bit vague for me. I'm not saying no. I'm saying it's too vague for me. Black holes. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I think black holes basically they separate the information. So when information enters a black hole, is it similar to an observer interacting with the matrix or an information field? If you talk about pure information, I don't know. I think my intuition tells me that when you enter a black hole, the vectors flip, and it looks like you're inside of another universe that is receding from you, just like ours is receding from us, even though you're falling towards the center. So, and then time and space reverse roles, the whole thing. You have to be there. Nobody has ever been. So, burnt caterpillars. Val, I think are you having a stroke? Hopefully not. I really hope not. How many others have I heard that had the VR goggles experience? The ones that I think are seeing the same thing as me, two people. Are we building a spaceship? Not yet. In early universe, many black holes. So could we be living in a trillion black hole point simulation? Well, black holes are very common in the universe. We know that black holes range from like, nano black holes, like really, really tiny ones, all the way to supermassive black holes. Black holes is the most common object in the universe. I don't know if you know this. It's actually kind of weird, but black holes is literally holding the majority of the mass of the universe. And I think they are essentially kind of like the scrambler. So like it's the thing through which the umbilical cord of our universe goes, and it gives birth to all these other universes inside of all these black holes, with maybe slightly different laws of physics inside of them even. Which again, kind of it's implied in the holographic principle, but it's not necessary to be in the holographic principle, but it is implied there. Electrons have awareness, double slit experiment. No, not in the simple sense that is the words mean that. If the second law of infodynamics is true, then wooden systems evolve towards simplicity or low levels of consciousness, according to integrated information theory. Well, this is why it's only the second law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics is that you never talk about the law of thermodynamics. If the second law of infodynamics is true, then wouldn't just towards simplicity. No, because entropy is being lowered in the second law of infodynamics. So it's the opposite. So the entropy is lowered, which means there's more potential for work. So it's almost like ultimate order or optimal order to the level, to the bedrock where it can fall. Does that make sense? Make that 3 for the VR type experience then. And that is very interesting. Oh, cool. If you're also seeing it, please let us know in Discord. On Discord, I would love to hear more about this. And also, guys, come on. You got to be PC, okay? African American holes only. Low levels of consciousness according to integrated information theory. Oh, I read this already. A black hole has no hair. That is true. That is a real statement that was made by physicists, by the way. It means something very specific, but it has to do with it. It doesn't leave any strings of radiation, which, wait, but Hawking radiation flies in the face of that. I actually forget what the... Are cats real? Absolutely not. Cats can't possibly be real, and everybody should know this. Hey, Jay, what's up, brother? I mean, just watch cat videos. That's not possible. None of the stuff that you see in cats videos is possible. Cats are absolutely not real. Who's your daddy? What does he do? Wait, I gotta catch up here. Amazing mental evolve. What chat did you share it on, by the way, just so I know? Is gravity just caused by rotation? Is it vortex? No, gravity is not caused by rotation. Gravity is caused by proximity to mass. In other words, it is the state of acceleration through the space part of space-time, and that causes you to enter the time portion of space-time relativity is really weird and in very fun ways. But essentially, again, Veritasium did great episodes on this. But if somebody, let's say, falls off a building, they are actually not accelerating. They are now in free fall. Well, I mean, they get to terminal velocity, but the you're accelerating right now, and you're just being stopped by the ground. This acceleration is you can look at gravity in terms of that acceleration. They're one and the same because of mass, and that is actually a very fundamental question that not I don't even know if we truly have a final answer on that in terms of explanation of what causes mass to like there's technical reasons to connect it to everything else in terms of like we know that that's how it goes. Every mass instance in the universe holds an interaction with space-time in such a way that space-time grips it, so they become interlinked. Things that are massless, like photons, move at the absolute maximum speed in space-time. Space-time can move faster than the speed of light, which is an interesting property, by the way, because it says that there's something about the property of space-time that prevents it from going faster, which might be the speed of causation. But that acceleration is what gravity is. And I highly recommend you watch Veritasium's video on gravity. I think he did a couple. He's superb at explaining these things, and I think it was a really good one. A couple of them. Vsauce also did a really good episode on gravity. If you do Vsauce gravity, you will also get a really good explanation. And it has to do with geodesics. He approaches it from the geodesic side. Nice. No idea what Discord is? I think you're lucky. 218 simulation talks. Yeah, we're pretty proud of it. Just wanted to say thanks for having me up yesterday. It was a great live. Was curious though. What's something? The most profound thing an entity has told you during a molecule journey. It has to do with the ultimate fate of things. But again, I do not have the energy for like these deep dives today. So I'm keeping it very surface today. Indeed, Strickland. Quantum simulation, it from bit, energy equals bit. Yes, you're correct. I would agree with that. Do you think we're in a simulation faster than light? Higgs field? Well, I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Ultimately, you can move faster than light if you're not tethered to space-time. But yeah, ultimately behind our laws of physics, you have it from bit. Correct. Wheeler famously said. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Eric. You said everything I said in 3 words. Mass creates gravity. I mean, it's more complicated than this, but overall, you said basically that everything that I said can be absolutely summarized in these 3 words. So thank you. Maybe they want me to look at the third eye in my brain. Maybe. I just can't find it. Good golly, Miss Molly. It's great. I think Lorentz force and a few things happening. Cancellation is gravity, but not foolish enough to demand it. I have not done the work. Nice. It's a good quote. I wish Terrence Howard would have more of this mindset. Can you please explain more about the woman you met that could produce an energy vortex from her hand and you could feel it on your face? I mean that's about it. That there's nothing to explain. It's just a woman that I met in Ibiza, and she did this thing, and I could feel this thing. Cosmo, and clearly it excited Cosmo. And then I told Kelsey to come over, and she did it on her, and she felt it too. That's really all there is to it. I mean, I don't have an explanation or. Cosmo. Oh no. Hey, baby.
No,
Amp it up. Amp it up.
no.
Electrocute that fucker. He's we're trying to make bark less.
It's okay. Hold on. Where are you? Hey,
Cosme. Uncle Jeffy is saying it's not actually moving faster than light. It's being in a state that's beyond light and its properties. Well, it's one way of looking at it, but considering the fact that space-time is more fundamental than light, or at least light exists inside of space-time, so whatever expression light might have beyond space-time uh, is expressed still within space-time in a particular way, and considering the fact we know for a fact that space-time at the edges of the universe moving away, receding faster away from us, the universal horizon, than the speed of light, I think a much more straightforward way of looking at it, even from the relativity perspective, is that space-time does not have a speed limit, and infinite inflation really kind of like really plays nicely into that, because inflation happens way, 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 way faster than the speed of light, like orders of magnitude faster. Do you think quantum entanglement is actually a wormhole? Depends. I think that all of these cases of like things being seeming to be like in a superposition is a little different, but yeah, entanglement, I think it's more that you're observing things in their more natural state. Their original state is all being one thing, and the separation between the things is just the bubbling ripples on top of the pond. So when you see a coupling, when you see an instantiation of what we call um, entanglement, is essentially you bringing the particles into their more natural state in which they are one thing. So the state of one by necessity means something about the state of the other. They're one thing. It's not like they're communicating. They're not two things anymore. And Bose-Einstein condensate, as you know, it's basically a really good example of a, like when something becomes a superfluid, it's a good example of that state becoming apparent. And by the way, if you want to be a little bit more kind of like poetic or theoretical, I think that when you quiet your mind enough in meditation, you're essentially bringing the informational state also to this superposition, where all of a sudden you're aware that you're all part of the same thing. Live trials and ability expanding. Exactly, Strickland. Any thoughts on Archangel Michael being a guide? Actually, no, but recently I had a lot of people kind of like stepping into my life that like they even either have the name Michael or some version of that that seem to have this like quality of guides. So it is interesting. Distance is an illusion at Planck length. You mean distance is an illusion for us, but at Planck length, it's all one thing. Yeah, I agree. Exactly the analogy, but it exists over so much space and time. Well, you might want to add to that the space and time themselves are in a lower dimensional expression of the thing. So that's why it seems like it's far away, when in reality, in the fourth dimension, in the bulk, they're not far away. They're not even any distance from one another. There's no distance. Do you have a physics degree? No. But physics is the closest thing to uh, scientific interest that I am following closely that I have. No, no degrees. I started a physics degree when I was very, very young, and then I kind of took a different path in life. My grandfather was a physicist, but physics is both the operationally the logic that I'm always using for basically everything, and the thing that I still believe holds the key to basically the understanding of everything. It's just that we have to expand what physics is comfortable investigating and find the right handles, as one mathematician very eloquently put it to me. He said, "What's the handle?" I said, "That's a good point." So even if we want to inject consciousness into physics, we have to offer a handle. Physics can't grab it without that handle. What is that thing? How do we put it into the equation to talk about it? So there was a slight sidetrack, but that's the principle that I'm always following. But physics is the thing I would say from all the sciences that I guess I know the most about, just because it fascinates me more than anything else. Thank you, Strickland. It's always nice to get just an unsolicited compliment. Smart guy. And then Flight 357, 3 orbs, space-time weapon. I don't know anything about that. I'm very unknowledgeable when it comes to these things. I inherited my physics degree from my ancestors. Yeah. I have weirdly very strong intuitions in physics for somebody whose math on the subject is not that deep. I mean, I know some math, but it's not deep enough for me to have the intuitions that I have. And I've tested them, by the way. So, like, if I have a conversation with a physicist, uh, a lot of my intuitions hold water, which is weird. Like, I have a really good grasp of what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, even though that, of course, I understand the granularity required to truly understand, like, how gauge symmetry plays into the um, how they translate to all the forces and field equations, and how you definitely need to go much deeper into the math, but not into the myth, into the math. And my accent does not allow me to hear the difference, but maybe you need more math to understand the math. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the trick, but still, like, even in gauge symmetry, which is a pretty technical thing, I have a pretty good grasp of it intuitively, which is weird. So I can just, like, for example, you can basically think of gauge symmetry, or like okay, so when you're talking about, like, people with Lagrangians, right, and talking about gauge, the simple way of thinking about it intuitively, even though, again, if you don't know the math, it's not really going to run much longer than a sentence or two where you stop making sense. But you can think of it, the field of all weights in a local neighborhood. So basically, what does each thing weigh in relationship to everything else in a local neighborhood, and it's always dynamic. So if these weights go up, you have to conserve a certain amount of these weights, of the total weight in that neighborhood, and from which you're sampling. And if you want to describe something here in terms of more weight, because of whatever reason, either you observe or you postulate, you would by necessity have to then somehow rearrange the weights across the local neighborhood. And that actually how, in gauge symmetry, how forces are described in terms of processes from some kind of a status quo that is created as a result of the agreed upon average between all the players in that region of in that region of that you're sampling from. What's up, Don? Calculus can take me pretty. My calculus is not bad. That's true. Calculus can take you pretty far, because honestly, I think derivatives in general is just a thing that just runs across so many things that alone gives you very strong intuitions. Yes, and the calculus as a whole, even more so. Yes, but there are certain things that you gotta go fancy. I do think that recently we were talking about quaternions, and maybe we'll dive into octonions at some point. These are very fancy, but I do understand their need if you want to make things simpler, um, in terms of operational descriptions. That's why they use them in video games, right? Quaternions, at least. What's going on with my voice? Too much dust. Your linear algebra. Is that an insult? What are your strongest mathematical chops, Nico? What's your favorite field of mathematics? Some people really love trigonometry, geometry. Excuse me. Matrices, math. I don't know. Or like some of these fancier things, or you like the basics, which, by the way, are not that simple actually, if you need to know them well. But where are you the most comfortable? I'm a physicist, and you're pretty close. Good genes and EPI. Thanks. Hyperbolic geometry explains most things, including code. Why wouldn't code, real question, why wouldn't you consider that code can basically transcend that as well? Like, why wouldn't it just be more fundamental than that? Like, why wouldn't not? Because it feels to me like you can just think of code as any sets of computational signals that give rise to some operational logic in some density of information, which means that really kind of like Wolfram's model, right? So you think of everything in terms of computation, and the decision graphs, all the logic of all the possible spaces, including hypergraphs, causal graphs, Boolean, and all of these, they're basically following this. I mean, in the end of the day, they follow the same logic, and it is the most universal because really you can't think of anything that is more descriptively fundamental than a logical operation that happens because this happened, right? So like that's how I think of code, which is that it is the symbolic representation of a signal that allows for a computational process to take place that can be instantiated in some form, either in physical space or in any other space you can imagine, and it can deliver itself universally, completely substrate independent. Why would you not postulate that code is more fundamental even than hyperbolic geometry? My face is proportional codes for IQ. You know, it's interesting. First of all, thank you for all the compliments. It does feel nice. I don't know if I deserve all these compliments. It feels good in the body, so thank you. But what I've heard this before actually. I don't know if it's necessarily true about me, but it is I've heard this before that certain people, not just facial features, but also even shape of a body and the way that people move are more conducive to particular functions. So like, somebody who's a really incredible dancer naturally, they can have a particular way they have their inner predispositions and I guess what you would call outer predispositions, which is the shape of their body and how they move and everything. That is a very interesting theory. So movement and the potential for movement, which is how the body is expressed in three-dimensional space, holds the potential for particular functions. The person who told me this, they said Marilyn Monroe could never come up with the field equations, not because she was dumb or anything like this, just because she was not built for this. Like she's not made like that. And the same goes for the genius that she held, which is the social dynamic thing. Could not be attributed to other people that kind of shape differently. It is an interesting idea. Geometric symmetry. Symmetry is definitely fundamental. I would fully agree with that. I mean, I think most physicists would agree with that. Holographic geometry explains most of our reality, really. I agree with that. Yes. I actually think that what the code is the reference. I think that our consciousness is the reference light in a hologram. And what happens on the molecule is that there's a change in the reference light's angle. So you see there's a phase shift, which allows you to see behind the corner, so to speak. Ooh, look at that. There you go, winning. On YouTube, it did like a woo party. So I guess we're right. It allows you to basically see behind the corner, so to speak, on the screen where the information is being recorded, which in our case is the bulk. Space-time itself is the screen on which everything is recorded. Thank you, Marcia. 1 divided by infinity, y undefined. Is it undefined? I actually don't know this. Is the dividing by infinity the same as dividing by 0? I don't remember. I'm hiding. Do you watch Y Files? No, I don't. So weird. I stumbled upon onto you last night and watched the Danny interview till 3:30 a.m. Well, thank you. I'm glad you're here. You should experiment with spinning optical. Yeah, we did that. It doesn't really add anything. Our brains have left and right, just like Earth. You mean the hemispheres? So are all brains? That's a good question. Wow, that is a very deep question. Do all brains have to have a right and a left hemisphere? My intuition tells me yes, but I have to think about why my intuition tells me this. There's something about this dichotomy that must be hold some kind of a key. Dividing by infinity is satisfying. Dividing by 0 is illegal. Nice. There's a lot of engagement today with TikTok. That's encouraging. I want the language of the code. I wonder how you said that. I want the language of the code. I want it. My precious. Brain microtubules connected with field. Maybe. I don't know. We're actually supposed to do something with Hammer off soon, so that's going to be exciting. I'll definitely have some fun conversations with him about this. Okay, let me see what we have on YouTube because I was ignoring you guys. Apologies. Documentary needs a Smeagol-like character. I think it's Cosmo. Cosmo is a little Smeagol-like. He's like with his treats. My precious. Oh my god, there's so many comments on YouTube. There's no way I can go through all this, guys. I mean, it's amazing, but don't forget your towel, baby. Yeah, Nirvana doesn't only not have suffering, it doesn't have anything. Thank you so much, Marsha. Thank you for the lightning bolts. We are AI for mushrooms. Yeah. Hitchhiker's effect for hyperspace. Oh, that would be amazing. I don't know if there is. Limbo Gene is saying, hello, everyone. Hope you're all wonderful today. Anybody here come across seemingly random, appearing very small, silvery metallic marbles by any chance? They pop up randomly from time to time. Madness. How might someone weaponize the core? I don't think they can. I think there's a safety mechanism there. Trying to go through the comments quickly. It's trying to scratch your face. Choochie Boochie. Who's your Boochie? Who's your baby girl? Look at her. Look at his face. She's like, leave me alone. Lena. Lena, go back. Go back. Go back. Go to mama. Go. Husband's too cute to be a Smeagol. Yeah. Well, maybe if he spends a lot of time with just his treats, he becomes like Smeagol. Oh, baby girl. Do you believe we are in the end of Kali Yuga? Yes. The brain is like a radio. No, like a boundary, like a bubble inside the universal mind. Oh, Carter's in the house. No code changes so far. Information is object permanent. While in state, allow multiple observers on the protocol to see the same content of at the same time. Indeed. Pessimistic, but I remember other timelines and they always ended with my dying from war or some natural disaster. Well, hopefully this one is different. And everybody should go follow Eric. His handle is DM anyways, the name of the molecule and then V. So like MTV, but with a D in the beginning. And you guys should definitely follow him on YouTube. He makes incredible shirts that I really love. All of them are designs of the molecule. What's up with you? Poor girl. What is going on? Oh my god. The spirits are high. At first I struggled with the Howard 1 times 1 being you have the remote? Thought the conventional method, but kept an open mind. I watched the PBS podcast, and now I fully understand and agree with Terrence. Oh yeah, you shouldn't. That one should have made it very clear to you that Terrence is not interested in knowledge or understanding. It's not a different framework. It's just an idiot. Get this by story data on Earth. This crazy man. Oh, you're talking about Melvin Bobson's work? You can check out my conversation with Melvin Bobson on my channel, Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Melvin is a good friend. Thank you so much, Space Idiot. What a handle. Oh man, this is great. 1 times 1 equals 2, exactly. Yeah, this is Melvin Bobson's work, Strickland, right? Second law of infodynamics. Great question. RC2. Are the codes you see on the molecule similar to what you've seen on mushrooms? No, no. And yes, thank you so much, Nico, for encouraging people to fill in the survey. Kami Bed is in the house. I'd like to start with understanding and communication, then decide the purpose. Well, you have to understand what it's doing in terms of, trying to perturb it, basically. So that's where we start. Whoa, today's a good turn up. Psychodong dynamics. That's a good physics theory. I like it, Mel. This is psychodong dynamics. What's up, Sean? Do you have a documentary coming out? Yeah, the end of the year, brother. You can check out the trailer if you haven't already on the channel. Okay. Well, this is great. I mean, I'd love to turn up today, but unfortunately, I think I have to adjourn for today. I have to keep it short today. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here as always. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It will be Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. Come join our members program on YouTube, Dango Thoughts. It includes early access to all my content, weekly lives for members only, aside from daily lives, access to private stuff in my life that will only exist on YouTube members, and Zoom calls with me. We had a really big blast in the last one, and another weekly live for members only coming up on Sunday. So please come join our members program. It's a lot of fun. And thank you so much for the team. Thank you so much for the community. I really appreciate you guys. It's always amazing to watch this thing grow. Join our Discord 100%. Go to YouTube, then go Thoughts, and join our Discord through there on my main page on YouTube. You have a link, the third link from the top, which gives you access to our Discord group. We have an incredible community that's growing there. Come, join, and be a part of it. And you can check out codeofreality.com to see everything we're doing that has to do with the project. And we're working on the film with the incredible director, Aaron Venden. The movie is probably going to be ready closer to the end of the year. It's going to be an incredible documentary. It's going to be talking about a lot of things, including what's going on in the world and what it means for humanity. So love you guys. Thank you. Good night. Peace and love. Ciao. See you guys. Have a good night.